Peace. Salute to the real ones. And welcome to another episode of Soul View. And today, man, I got a very, very, very special guest with me, man. You know what I'm saying? My guest today is someone I consider a master teacher in progress, an entrepreneur, an artist, and one who has studied with many of the greats, man, and also has a powerful family as well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Red Pill, Mama Pill, and KT. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But Mr. 44 himself is in the building, y'all. Blue Pill. What's up with you, man? Yeah, welcome to the
Peace,
Dragon's
peace,
Lair, bro.
peace, love, and light. It's an honor to be here. You know, in the Dragon's Lair.
Yes,
I got my
sir.
I got my Dragon Lair Slayer tat staff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the Galdar. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yes,
I'm in the
sir.
right place.
You in the right place, man. And I appreciate you, man, taking out the time to build with me, man. This is an honor for me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to you earlier, man. You and your brother and just your family, man. Y'all have, man, put down so much information, man, and knowledge and things that we can build off of. And I learned a lot of powerful ingredients from that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I added that to my soul recipe. And that's what I'm all about, man. So, you know, a lot of
That's.
people.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead, bro.
no, I'm just saying that that's the true purpose of the offering. You know what I'm saying? For it to be utilized in that manner. You know, for you to strip it down and make it your own and utilize it, and you toss to the wayside, you know, what you can't use, or you stash, you know what I'm saying? You don't even waste nothing. You know, it's like the harmonious way to kill an animal. They said, you know, as long as you don't waste nothing,
Come on.
and you haven't necessarily, you know, forsaken the life of that animal, you have allowed it to regenerate its purpose. You know, but everything can't necessarily be used right now. So you store some things away and everything will have its time. It's the same thing with this information. You know, everything is not necessarily for the now moment. You can get what you need right now. A lot of this stuff is for when you get to a different phase and a different level in the game, and, you know, a different stop sign on this highway of life. They'd be like, God damn it, let me reach back and get that. You know what I'm saying? The time is now, I need it. Like I'm literally sitting here going through Bobby Hemmett archive lectures from 20 years ago. I couldn't use a lot of that back then because it wasn't for back then. It was a forewarning about times to come. But when I listen to it now, I can use it. I can interpret it. I can repurpose it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that I can do with it because its time has arrived. It's seasoned enough that now it's gourmet. You feel me? Now you can't put a price on it because it's not hypothetical. Now it's a prophecy. It has supporting affidavits. You know what I'm saying? It's qualified itself. It stood the test of time. And not only was he, you know, all the way on point, but he was also giving instructions. He was quantum, you know, he was living his life, giving instructions from the past about the future that we could presently use. So being able to be a master student, right? Because I'm still on that path. I honestly don't think that, you know, with the exception of a few of us, I don't think that you attain master teacher status, you know, until you out of here. You know, and then your work, you know, is able to endure and stand the test, and your student body, you know, you only as nice as somebody that you raised to be nicer.
Facts.
You know, with this information, because it's a continuum. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's really, not to be cliche, but it's the continuing marathon. It's the proverbial marathon continues, and you handing off the baton. So there always has to be somebody that picks up where you left off to qualify, finish the work, or, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They can curate, they can bring all of the pieces together and put your work into some sort of compendium to present it, to be like, this is what this brother's mind was on. This is what this sister was able to, close her eyes and see in the darkness in terms of things that are to come that were all the way on point. Dr. Blair's all the way on point. Bobby was all the way on point. Sabi was all the way on point. Phil was all the way on point. And look, it's important. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but as I make my rounds and really do this whole 2020 review and just explain to people how all of these cycles have finally come into focus and interlope with one another, one of the main things to keep in mind without all of the details is that a lot of those elders that I mentioned did not get along with one another, right? And
hold on, Blue, we lost you. Blue, you there? Peace. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I kid you not.
You bringing that energy, boy, that fire, man.
That happens every single time when I'm about to talk about, the elders and the ancestors. That happens every single time.
That's
and
real.
I can only think that means that they don't necessarily want me to talk about it, but I qualify it by saying, look, I don't get into details, but I have to say, because our generation has to know that for whatever reason, a lot of the elders didn't see eye to eye, right? Especially as it pertained to their differing doctrines. They just didn't. You feel me? They just did not see eye to eye. And if one was to say, I pledge allegiance to this elder or this ancestor with this amount of information, right? Or this spectrum. It's like when you go to school, you got different courses throughout the day.
Right.
And that one teacher don't teach you every single course. You go to different teachers for different courses to get a well-rounded education that you're going to leave and graduate and, take hopefully and further your education, at a different institution. It's kind of the same thing in the community. There are different master teachers that were teaching different courses, different pedigree of information. And very rarely can you find, a teacher that's teaching something over here that agree with a teacher that's teaching something over there. And they would be like, yo, if I was you, I wouldn't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or I don't fuck with that person. Why are you fucking with them? You know what I'm saying? And you'd be like, damn, yo. If I was to rock with that, you know what I mean? You gotta really self-evaluate and be like, how much would I have not been exposed to? How much would I have not been informed about? How much would I have potentially missed out on, by not making that gamble and saying, well, I'm in it for the information and not the personality per se. So I'm not really going to get wrapped up in this individual. Thanks for the forewarning, but this information is coming through them. Yeah, some of that is speaking to me directly, and I need that, you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm standing on your shoulders, obviously, my exposure to the universe is in a different space and place because this is you haven't been in this particular, this particular area of the universe for receivership, right? We ain't been here yet. So it's like, yeah, you cut something off. And like I said, the pie could have been baked for you 20 years ago and you just wasn't ready yet, or time wasn't ready, right? So Bobby Hemming information probably did sound super outlandish to the critics 20 years ago. And I have to attest to, yeah, I used to hear shit that I'd be like, man, this shit sound crazy.
Right.
You had to ask yourself, like, are you sure you in the right place? You feel me? Well, what are you looking to get out of this? Because,
facts.
Son just said one thing that resonated, then he just went totally left.
Right.
And I sat through phases, you know, of what our teachers were going through at the time. So I was around for an angry Bobby phase, where Bobby was giving up on humanity altogether. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna get a different type of teacher, right? He was considerably a lot darker during that time period, and his information with borderline, you know, what somebody would say, it was a little bit more pessimistic. You know, shit, we gonna die. We all gonna die. The baby's gonna die. Shit about to burn to the ground. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do about it. See you in hell. You like, damn, that just, you know, that don't really work for me right now. It's still some shit that I got to do.
Right.
You know,
still got to live.
Yeah, I still got to live. I want to utilize this information. You know, I still got bae. You know what I'm saying? I want to have children of my own. Like, yeah, so you have to be able to mentally fight against it and not throw the whole thing out altogether. Be like, I'm going to just hold a space, you know what I mean, for when this revolution comes around, right? This revolving of time. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot, you know, because you have to be able to see in the darkness to be able to have that level of discretion, discernment, and discipline to be patient enough to wait for the information to materialize itself and qualify itself, because you invested the time. You're still looking for your ROI. Yo, what's the return on my investment? Niggas be like, yo, did you put your 10,000 hours in? Nigga, okay? You put 10,000 fucking hours in. Oh, part of my Morris Latin. But you put 10,000 hours in and you don't got nothing to show for it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be questioning. So dudes put 1,000 in and they want to self-audit everything. They want to bring the whole community up on charges. I ain't get what I paid for. Da-da-da-da. I mean, hypothetically speaking, what you paid for was your time, your energy, your attention, your focus, the sacrifices that you had to make with family. All of those things are really the things that you are looking for a return on your investment. Because, you know, more so than a little change that you spent for something that you got or that you didn't get, you know, the thing that you can't get back is the time. The thing that you can get back is the focus, the attention, right? The emotion that you put into this. You know, the things that you had to go up against just for this thing to flourish in your heart and your mind. People calling you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Your family banging on you because it's you know, it's not in line with what they study and resonate to, or plans that mama had for you. So all of that, man, all of that goes into it. Like I said, it takes a special group of individuals to have an enduring love for the men and women who stood before them and the sacrifices that they made for themselves as individuals, right? But holding space for the collective, knowing that as the individual you sacrifice and you take all of the pressure because you're like, yo, this is what my people need, even if they don't even know it yet. You feel me? And just the overall mythos, you know, like for me, as a child, I was heavily enthralled in mythology, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I wasn't into religion because I didn't grow up in a religious household, but I was into mythology. And when I was hearing people around me talking about religion, I was like, that shit sounded just like the mythology that I'm studying. Like, I even hear some of the same names. So it was weird, you know. But I'm saying all that to say that we held it down, you know, all of those elements put together, made for some very rarefied individuals that were able to hold the charge long enough where now it is a very strong current that resonates throughout the planet and hence throughout the galaxy, because these globes are spheres, you know, they're musical spheres, you know, they make resonant music throughout this universe. So if you ringing bells here, you know, that frequency, that vibration, that tonality is being heard throughout the rest of this universe. And if there's intelligent life anywhere, you know, outside of the bounds of where we exist, you know what I'm saying? They picking up on the message as well. You know what I mean? Because I personally, like I said, I know, you know, that the individuals that are really into this, their hearts are really, you know, open and they're standing on truth and the intent of who they are, or what they came here for is what they say it is. Then yeah, you know, those individuals, man, are sent from, you know, different dimensionalities, you know, to come here and do some monumental work. And these are some monumental times, and we probably can't see ourselves in the present for who we are and the work that we're doing, but it's monumental.
Wow. Yes, I agree, bro. It's definitely monumental, and we appreciate you. And I can say myself, we appreciate that the information that you laid down, you know what I'm saying, to pave the way. So with that being said, you know, you touched on your family having this spiritual background. Now, I seen your transformation because, like I said, I've been watching you guys for years. And I understand that you guys was in the street life just like everybody else, like myself. So with your family having that strong spiritual background, would you say the transition from the street life to getting higher consciousness was much easier for you, or was it harder?
It was easier. It was easier because it was about the current, holding a charge long enough that, you know, you can create a current, right? I say melanated people can create a spark but can't hold a charge. So we've never had the ability to see ourselves fully charged up, like 30 days consecutive of nonstop revolutionary action, whether in our minds, in our regimens, disciplines, conversation. You know, at least I could say, like, you know, in my age group generation, or in my timeline, I haven't really seen that. So we don't really know what we look like, fully charged up, committed to something, disciplined, you know what I'm saying, 10 toes down, pressing, like, we pressing the line, it's whatever. Like, we've never seen that. So, well, let me say we've never seen that as a collective, right? As a super duper collective body, millions of us, or a million of us, 100,000 of us. But I grew up around it with a tight pocket of individuals who was committed and made sacrifices and had a vision that was bigger than them and had a mission that, you know, to me, it reminded me, right? I was hearing things about this guy named Jesus, but I was not familiar with the Bible per se. You know, I didn't read the Bible until I got incarcerated and I had reading time, right? But everything that I heard people say about him, I'm like, damn, that sounds like Sabi. Like, not the super righteousness, just in terms of the mission, just in terms of the sacrifice. You know, I seen him, you know, speaking to the lowest of the lows. I seen him speaking to the most intelligent people. I seen him having no fear. I seen him, you know, feeding the multitudes with a little bit. I seen him, you know, talking that talk. And when I was growing up, he just was the only one around me that was that consistent with having a revolutionary mindset, spirit, and doing things actively that showed that he was not terrified, scared, concerned, or anything with the European, right? They didn't even exist in his reality in terms of an obstacle. So I grew up observing somebody who was totally fearless, and that's all he was instilling in us, like, have no fear. Like, who are they? Like, from where? Like, you know who you are, what you could do. So I'm watching him and my mother and my aunt do it on a small scale in terms of demonstrating. But everybody that I seen come into that office, into that clinic, you know, they left different than they came. So I'm like, this is a small change, but it's changed nonetheless. I still seen it. You feel me? And I seen the blowback and the pushback and the resistance that he got. It wasn't from Europeans. It was from our own people. And I'm seeing this as a child at the age of 5, 6. So that's probably one of the reasons why I was like, you know what? I ain't with this shit. You know, I made that decision like at 13, 14, right? When I started getting the taste of the streets. And the streets had a different level of loyalty. You feel me? There was a different attraction. There was a different level of loyalty. It fed a different dopamine receptor as opposed to sacrificing and doing the right thing with the wrong rewards attached to it. You do the wrong things and there's a right reward system attached to that. There's insurmountable amount of rewards that come with that. You know, being recognized as, you know what I'm saying, crazy out of your mind and just, you know, willing to do whatever, taking that no fear attitude, but applying it now to a different dynamic. You know, I got different results. And based on those results and the fact that I'm coming from St. Croix now, coming back, moving into Brooklyn, I have to climb this social stratus. I got to climb this ladder, right? Now I'm put into a social dynamic where, you feel me, is kill or be killed, is eat or be eaten, you know?
Right.
It's the jungle. I'm coming from the tropical jungles to the concrete jungle.
Right.
Right? I'm coming to visit my father at the age of 10. I ain't never been to Brooklyn prior to that. I was born in New York and I lived in the Bronx, in Harlem, but that shit was not Brooklyn. So I come from St. Croix. They sent me to visit my father on a Christmas break, my mother and Sabi, and I just never went back.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I never went back. You know, I didn't consciousness at that time or that sacrifice. I could say it wasn't attractive, you know what I'm saying? And my father was doing something opposite. And to me, it was more attractive. He was eating meat, you know what I'm saying? They had things, it was different, you know what I'm saying? I could stay up later. It wasn't, and you know, there was a discipline factor. You know, my father wasn't totally, loose goose and absent from parenting, but he's a college professor, so he worked different hours. I had a different arrangement, right? I was able to explore different. I'm finding myself, like I said, I'm overwhelmed by the concrete jungle. I'm like, yo, this is a big ass city. You feel me? I'm on trains now. You know, I'm just coming into my own, you know, those particular years that you start preparing yourself for the hero's journey. And yeah, New York, it was magnetic, man. It was magnetic, but goddamn, if it wasn't like like a landmine, like walking through, like they had dinosaurs, my nigga. Like I was not a big child. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Dinosaurs.
Yeah, like, you know, people talking about Mike Tyson in the Boosie interview, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, imagine growing up, and them is the niggas who you growing up around. Because I mean, technically, that's who it was.
Yes, sir.
You know, these is the dinosaurs. These is the niggas
that was
they
that
make
energy.
all of these documentaries about. Yeah, like these are the people that you just seeing in an everyday, regular setting. You know, this is the people that make up the population of your environment. These are the dynamics, the everyday dynamics. These are plays that you see in, you know, you seeing them in action though. You know, you're not just seeing you're just not seeing them, you're seeing them in action. Right? You're seeing predators hunt and prey. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing people getting fangs put into them. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing the kill. You're seeing the daily operation of what it takes to sustain and maintain in the jungle, right? Where everybody comes outside to kill their meal daily.
Right.
You feel me? And they talking some vegan shit, and I'm like, nah, bro, I gotta get some of this cow meat. I gotta get some of this blood in my body. You know what I'm saying? I need to grow these fangs. I say that we don't come with them, but yeah, I need to get carnivorous for a second because this shit is gonna call for something different. you know, and yeah, that's the path that I chose, and that's the path that I took. And we were able to accelerate in that environment for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was just really that Scorpio energy, you know, of being attracted to the dark side and still being the light though, like not sacrificing and giving up your internal light. It's just bringing the light into the fucking dungeon.
Mm.
You know, like people bring the lantern and you can see things better.
Facts.
You feel me?
Facts.
Like I ain't succumb to this shit, but I'd be damned if I wasn't up in there like, what's going on? What the hell is this? Okay.
Right.
You know, exploratory. And I was talking to somebody about this, man. The you know, just the adrenaline rush from being adventurous, it was unlike anything else. Right? Because to me, this was just it was an extension of my imagination. You know, I'm like, shit, this Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? You flirting with death every single day, but it's just like my imagination, the adventures, the dopamines, the adrenaline, you know what I mean? Like it was just, I grew up reading comic books. So I already believed that I was a superhero. I already believed that I was invincible. Now it was time to prove it to myself. And this was the training ground, right? This is where like nobody can talk to me about metaphysics because I was practicing metaphysics before I knew what the word was. Right? I developed the Jedi mind trick. Like I said, I was not the biggest, most physically imposing person. I had to tap into my brain more so than my brawn, right? So, you know, we was playing cops and robbers every single day once I got into my retail reparations, which was boosting, right? So once I understood the history about the European and the conqueror, I mean the colonizer, the conquistador, and all of these things, and all of that anger swelled and built up in you, and you don't got no outlet for it, you know, rather than allow it to consume me, and then I'm going outside and beating up on myself because I hate myself because I'm really fearful and I don't have a way to express this pain, right? Because that's what happens in the hood, you know. Niggas get, you know, bent out of shape and shit about the anger, about what has been quote unquote done to them. But you ain't going putting no pain on the adversary, on the op. You know, you creating this fictional op that look just like you because you frustrated and you fearful. You don't have an outlet. And the only thing that you're going to do is destroy yourself to prove to yourself that, you know, you're not as weak as you think you are.
So let me ask you this, because you were saying a lot of powerful stuff, man. So with you and your brother, y'all being creators, you know, how important is it for people to find an effective creative outlet?
I mean, it's paramount. You know, it's paramount to your existence that you find an outlet. You find some way to creatively channel, you know, whatever um whatever current is moving through you, whether that is stress, whether that's frustration, whether it's inspiration, whether it is you know, a real-time download. You know what I'm saying? You have to figure out, find a way to you know, best feed that particular stream of consciousness so it can serve you, you know, so it can be of service to you, and not just these fleeting thoughts that we get. You know what I mean? And it's like, take yourself a little bit more serious and really get into your bag. You know, allow this information to not only present itself to you as the truth, but also provide a way for you, you know, to actually eat. So you wouldn't be bitter with the information and be blaming other people about your inability to pivot. You know, from being in the matrix and getting the check, relying upon the government, you know what I'm saying, or hitting the block, you know what I mean? But it's like you should be able to master some level of commerce in this particular walk of life as well. You know, there's a conscious commerce. Why aren't people tapping in? You know?
That's deep.
I was selling CMOS. I've been selling CMOS since 2010. You know what I'm saying? I've been selling alkaline water since 2010. I've been selling gold since 2010. You feel me? We've been selling conscious drip, clothes, and jewelry since 2007. You feel me? So, and these are all things that I figured out on my own. You know what I'm saying? That I took it upon myself to be like, yo, this is what I'm already doing in my life. Why not make a business of it?
Right.
It's needed. It's not oversaturated. There's an open market. Nobody was selling CMOS when I was selling CMOS 10 years ago. I mean, when I say nobody, I mean with the exception of Dr. Sabi and my mother. But outside of that, not dry CMOS, not powder CMOS, not CMOS made as a smoothie, not vegan CMOS. So when we say vegan, no goat milk, no sugar, no soy milk, none of that stuff that other communities will say, oh, we were selling CMOS, we were selling CMOS with sugar in it, nigga, or goat milk. Even the Ross community, right? And it wasn't universally something that they was pitching to women and children. It was niggas was being selfish because it had that bedroom bully attached to it. So niggas wasn't even spreading the love. So you gotta have that ability to see. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. You gotta have the ability to see the light in the middle of midnight. Close your eyes in pure darkness and still see a light. That's the vision. That's being able to see the light in the darkness. That's an analogy for saying, yo, I can see into the future. I can see, what a good idea would be and why it's going to be needed. I'm going to put it in the market and it's going to take the world 5 years to catch up to it. But guess what? When they do, I'm going to be here, waiting, ready. I already did all of the clinical trial runs. Now we ready to run the marathon. What's good? Let's go. Then you can whip up your M's and your B's and become titans in industry and all of this shit. This is how you change the world. You utilize this information. You utilize your intuitiveness. You utilize the inspiration of what you get from these lectures. If I had sat there and honored myself, right, when I used to be in Valentine lectures and Bobby lectures, my mind will always be like, yo, this is a movie script. Yo, this is a movie script. Yo, don't even concern yourself with whether this shit is real or not, right? It's exciting your imagination enough where you're getting all of these thoughts. Why not put it into anthology, anthologize it in fictional form, make it science, quote unquote, fiction with sprinkles of reality in it, and time will catch up with itself. This is what the European did with Philip K. Dick, right? Philip K. Dick, they utilized all of his books to create their future with. Now, whether he tapped into the concept of what their future was going to look like, and he was writing anthologies based on that, or whether they was utilizing his work as blueprints, don't matter. That is still how they built their reality off of science fiction. Wow. You feel me? So it's not too far. It's not too far flung for us to be fucking dreamers, use our imagination to create a new reality, especially during this time when there's going to be so much dissatisfaction based on people are not going to get no ROI, right? From the things that they are investing so much time and energy and focus and faith in, which is this selection process. Right. They're going to be so dissatisfied. You feel me? This gives us the opportunity, to knock this pimp for a lot of his hoes, a lot of his bottoms. We can snatch the whole stable and be like, get them hoes. I got a whole new track that I done built out over here. I'm gonna get these hoes their freedom paper. You could be the Abraham Lincoln the hoes.
Facts.
I'm just saying.
Facts. That's real.
Template reality, man. Look at this shit. Just template and duplicate. You feel me? What was done for one class of slaves has to be done for a new class of slaves today. Shout out to Kanye, my nigga.
Wow,
my
dude,
nigga.
That's deep. So with you saying that, because you're talking about, this energy that's right now, we talked about the Scorpio season. What can we do to prepare for this season? You know what I'm saying?
We in it.
Is the meditation, should we do
Oh
meditation? I know
yeah.
you did the 7-day meditation with Brother Rich. Shout out to Brother Rich.
Shout
You
out to
did that
Brother
in
Rich.
September, and it was very successful. But what is the importance of us meditating on a daily basis and right now, because we're in this new energy?
Specifically right now, because we are in the retrograde season, and with Mercury being in retrograde, which is mind and communication, with Aries being retrograde, Aries is the head. So both of those things signify, the mind, the head, the thought, the faculty in which meditation specifically targets. Retrograde is going backwards and slowing things down. So that is a meditative process. So yes, I think that the signs of the time speak specifically to meditation right now. Plus, you want to be non-confrontational, right? You want to have what they call emotional maturity. There's another word that I'm looking for, but we can say that for now. This emotional maturity, where you're just not jumping at every single thing. You know what I'm saying? You're being a lot more responsible. You're thinking 5 times before you talk. You're not being reactionary. You're not falling for the traps. You're being very mindful to not necessarily want to be in confrontation. But do the shadow work as well. And that's where meditation comes in, where your own body signaling to you what you need to be working on, where your focus needs to be, where what relationships need your attention. Things that you might not see in the light might come to you in the dark by way of meditation. Be like, that nigga said what? I was talking hella slick. Oh, you ain't catch that though. Yeah, all of them things, like slow things down so you can actually catch them. Now is the perfect time for that. Scorpio season going to reveal your secret enemies, right? You got to be ready for this shit. So many people be asking for stuff and don't be ready when they get here. And like I said, that be the dishonoring, your legacy, dishonoring your download. Don't dishonor your download. You know what I'm saying? Be presently present so you can unpack what your download is. That's where the gift of all of time is. That's where the being in the now and presently present and all of that cool stuff that sounds like good talking points. Those are instructions to really, really receive the blessings and the blessings of with this, what Jay said, the spiritual shit that really works. Yeah, like those are the directions that one needs to follow. Be presently present. And that is best qualified by mastering one's meditation. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, I don't know how to meditate. Well, shit, look that shit up, man. Google that shit. Try everything that you read and then try it again. Try it some more times. And that's what it takes. Like, everybody got a different story about what it took them, right? This ain't come easy for nobody. And not too many people did the same thing. So there's a lot of diversification about how you catch the beat, my nigga, right? But you got to catch the beat. If you want to make beautiful music, you got to be able to catch the beat. Again, that's an analogy for living this life. That's an analogy for being in alignment. That's an analogy for doing the work, right? Catching the beat.
Catching the beat, dog. That's profound, bro. And just don't dishonor your download, man. That's powerful, bro. And you mentioned Kanye earlier, and I know you seen the Joe Rogan interview, but let me ask you this, Blue. Kanye talked about this quote unquote utopia for the world. Do you even think that's a possibility, bro?
I don't know if I could quite say that he spoke about a utopia for the. Well, he did. He did speak about it for the world.
Yeah, he said it for America, but then he said the whole world.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kanye is always going to speak in broad terms like that. This is the Aquarian age, and Aquarian age is about humanity. It's about the world. So people that are Aquarian and Aquarian thinkers, which is very interesting when it comes to Kanye. People that are, in that vibration, they have a tendency to speak in those terms. I think that it's available and accessible for a portion of society,
Okay.
who qualifies and chooses themselves for that assignment. But I don't think that that's something that the world is going to attain. I don't personally think that.
Okay.
But
How did you feel
I
about
could be
him?
wrong.
Well, that's real, you know what I'm saying? But how else did you feel about his interview? He was saying a lot of things and his plans for the future and his plans on running for president. But he also mentioned himself with a lot of Europeans. That's something that I noticed. He idolizes a lot of Europeans, Tesla, Elon Musk, and people of that
Walt
nature.
Disney.
Yeah, Walt Disney. How do you feel about that? Because it seems like when somebody like us who are children of the sun get in a certain position, it seems like we just have to kind of, tap dance around, our idols, and we start saying their idols. We
But my
idolize
thing
what
is,
they're
yeah,
doing. How you feel
that's
about that, bro?
that's his idols. Those are his idols, right? For him being a creative, those are the backboards that he bounces his greatness off of, right? That's how he sees himself in comparison to other genius that exists in this world. He don't have he don't have a portfolio to pick from that looks like me and you. Now, I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. Whether that's good or bad is not necessarily for me to say. He
Right.
is a child of America, like like we all are.
Right.
You feel me? We have
But
the
like you and
ability
me,
that
bro. But like
we.
you and me,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to cut you off, my bad. But like you and me, man, we can see the value in other people that look like us. That's all I'm saying. And I know he knows that as well. I mean, he grew
He might.
right up under Dame Dash. He grew up right up under Jay-Z, people who are breaking the mold of certain things. You know what I'm saying?
And like
Like
I
they didn't
said,
just stick to one
I'm
template.
sure that he's able to cite them as influences in other areas of his life that he might feel inspired by them. But in terms of how he sees himself as a creative, how he sees himself as a paradigm shifter, right? Because
Okay.
he made it known in the public how much he loves that word. So we ain't gotta point it out and be like, the comparison of the talking points.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe one day when these artists are contractually allowed to say, yo man, I listen to Red and Blue and 19 Keys and and AA and the whole conscious, because you don't see none of these niggas saying that, but they just
Right.
utilize all of the talking points. So I'm like, all right, well, his creative comparisons, right? Or his the barometer by which he gauges his genius by is Walt Disney, Tesla, Steve Jobs, and a few others. And like I said, as a creative, I can understand his comparisons. I can understand his analysis of their greatness and how he sees himself, right, in that particular spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very rarely do you find somebody, especially who connects themselves to the narrative of Christianity that is divorced or separated from the dynamic of Americanism, because the shit goes hand in hand.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So his mind is already colonized to some degree in terms of where he is pledging his allegiance to, and the fact that he sees Jesus as possibly white. Remember this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay? Remember this. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
He obviously, right? He was thoroughly and successfully marketed Westernism. His last name is West, right? His psychology of sexuality, okay, was taught to him via porno. Okay. Now I'm going to talk to you about the psychological development of the Black male mind in the West, right? And how important it is when it comes to marketing, okay? And how you market to somebody, right? And what they end up becoming acculturated by in terms of the things that they allow themselves to become marketed by. So we was marketed this concept of what beauty looks like, right? The standard of beauty. You feel me?
Right.
It became something that subconsciously melanated men also equated, right, with forbidden fruit. The thing that makes you equal to this white man is possibly his woman, right? They like, I can't stand up next to him and be the same size as him. You feel me?
Facts.
But if I could knock his woman down, it's like Lovecraft, right? How she wanted to be in that white body so bad.
So bad.
The Black man, subconsciously, he wants to be in that white man's body because the white man is already in his mind, right? He's been properly indoctrinated based on his acculturation and his education to think like a European, right? Think about all of the things that what are all of his heights? What are all of his apexes? Shit, even look, I'm getting clean. Oh, you dressing like a white man. Feel me? What does it look like to be African clean? Right? Our brothers came right out of slavery. They had on bow ties and bowler hats, and they was getting clean and going to church and putting on their Sunday best. Why wasn't it mudcloth? Why wasn't it, our own interpretation of whatever we was interpreting? It was the classical European cut. It was an impression and impersonation of how they look based on the fact that we were taught how to think, based on the fact of how they think, utilizing a language that comes from them.
Facts.
So all of these layers that they keep putting on top of us and acculturating us, the fact that we were even able to identify masculinity in the Western world through this white man on TV with a pistol, whether it was the Western or the police, right? And I'm telling you because, once again, I grew up in this generation where the movies and the TV had the most impact because I'm able to come outside and see the effects of that shit play out amongst my peers. People ask me, do I believe whether Jesus Christ is real or not? I say, it don't matter. Shit, was Scarface real? Because I'm like, there's 1 million plus bodies that's rotting in penitentiaries right now, and more than 5 to 10 million, right, that are worm food right now because niggas wanted to be Tony Montana, right? So I don't give a fuck about whether these niggas grew up wanting to be Jesus Christ and their goals is to walk on water. You feel me? What about the niggas who wanted to be Tony Montana? Why don't we put more emphasis into denouncing that shit into knocking that hustle and disproving the reality and the realness of that character, right? So a nigga want to be Jesus and he ends up walking on some fucking water and feeding the multitude with some fishes. You trying to be Christ-like. What does that shit mean? It really don't matter what color you are, right? Because technically you're not going to go about it the way that Constantine did and go around the fucking globe with empire and the sword and force people into Christianity. You don't got nothing to worry about with these niggas, right? They supposed to be Christ-like and they fucking eating meat. They say it was a herbivore. There's nothing else to talk about with these niggas. That's what I'm saying. You can shut Nana down real quick at the table. Like, I ain't trying to hear that shit. If you're trying to be Christ-like, the first thing that you do is fucking figure out what he ate, right? Because you are what you eat. So if you're trying to be Christ-like, goddamn it, what was his diet? Fuck out of here. So we wasted too much time on things that don't fucking require no energy whatsoever. That's like having a 1-2 chess move. Like, come on, the next. So if they're not willing to sacrifice and meet themselves, right, at a serious point enough to be disciplined enough and regimented enough to know that you can't be Christ-like, especially if you're eating from the goddamn devil, what are we even talking to them about? They gotta, you know, they got a lot of growing up to do. But like I said, even if they wanted to do that thing and they ended up doing some righteousness in the world, so what? What about the niggas who want to be Scarface though? Right? Because that got us fucked up. That got us fucked up. And people want to have comparisons. That is. Oh, but what's worse? Brother Pill, you think that Tony Montana is worse than you? Yeah. Yeah. In my generation, because none of these niggas was going to church. Or like, it was none of them niggas into that shit. All of them niggas is worm food right now. Or this fucking, you know, just living, rotting out, doing stretches in the mountains. Right? And none of them niggas have no motherfucking inclinations to be Jesus Christ in their heart when we was growing up. These are niggas that Satan got in the fucking desert and he flipped them. Okay? Early. Look, I told somebody this. The minute that, you know, this lady she was opening her heart and just giving me a different perspective, you know, about the personal effects that she's seen in her family. She grew up in Cincinnati that Rick Ross had on her family. I wrestle with this shit a lot because I know Rick. And Rick is a very personable individual, you know what I'm saying, who you can't help but like. I interview Rick Ross. We talking about the real Rick Ross. I interview Rick Ross maybe 3 or 4 times, you know, to attempt to get some level of whether he understood what he did to humanity. Right. And he's never really, you know, straight up outright accepted it. He always had a deflection of some sort. And I'm like, you got to understand, if you're talking about soul contracts, you know, when somebody pick up a piece of work, they've automatically cut themselves off from the flock, from the collective, from us, from community, from the people, from the broader goal, because you have to create a false demarcation line between you and society to be like, nigga, if you cross that line, I got to take your head off. You don't have no friends, no partners, no peers, no equals, none of that shit when you jump in the game. It's you against the world, my nigga. Right? Everybody's a customer or a. Facts. You feel me? So who you really working for? You just got to ask yourself that. I'm not qualified to tell that to you, but who you working for? Right? Who you working for? What is it? What's goals? What do you work? Your trajectory is going to land you where? In service of what? You contracted with who? To pick up that work to hold you down. Because God don't got nothing to do with that. He ain't in that business. So who you working for? Right? And why was it so fucking easy? You know what I'm saying? Why was it so easy for you to bargain your soul for fool's gold?
Wow.
For a 3-year, 4-year run. You couldn't have been doing it for your nana or your mama because you put her in more danger by creating more zombies, right? And any extra zombie in the community, that's, you know, she's a susceptible victim, because them niggas got to get high. They got to come and see you to pay you for that work. They don't give a fuck about her. So you actually put her in danger by thinking that you was doing something to help her. You know what I'm saying? You did it for some Jordans, nigga. Keep it real. So you can climb the social strata the same way I started boosting to climb the social strata. Right? Because well, there might be some people, but who wants to be in the game of life and not playing to win? Who wants to be in America and not be an American?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And being an American is enjoying the spoils of what this shit means. Right? The fact that we all sold our soul for something. Right? What are you getting in return? Is it enough, you know, to sedate you long enough for your fucking skid bit trip through here until you up out of here? And you become worm food? So it's like, are we looking at this shit? We're not thinking about it the way a Scorpio gonna go to the depths of the fucking the depths of the darkness of the, you know, of the levels of it, to be like, are we really looking at this? Are we really being honest with ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like, what sort of energy does that give off in the community when you make soul contracts like that and you walking around? What sort of invisible energy are you giving off? What are you radiating? And what does that shit do to the environment? Right? Do them hugs look like that because of that? What radiation is a crackhead giving off? Deteriorating. Right? Deteriorating. The cells are eating on itself. That body is breaking down. You know what I'm saying? That person has a whole different spirit on them. What sort of energy does that give off? If you had goggles on, what would it look like? What does that do to the environment, the immediate environment, with all of that radiation that person is giving off? You know what I'm saying? Man, we raising children around that shit, you know, in toxic cesspools, ionizing the atmosphere with all of that low vibrational music, thoughts, food, you know, the radiation from our bodies breaking down, lying to, lying on, fear, sorrow, worry, you know, all that shit.
Man,
you know?
That's real. That's real. That's powerful, bro.
You've been to Philly, you've been to Detroit, been to Newark, been to Camden, been to Brownsville, been to Opelika, Overton, you know, just these places that we might identify. We like, yo, I'm from the hood, my nigga. Like, South Central, some aspects of it. Like, these are places that I've gone and you could feel death. It's like a thickness. It's an energy. It's a field. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can identify the shit because it feels the same everywhere that you go. Columbus. Columbus, yeah, like, and at night, you can really identify these places because they all feel the same and look the same to some degree.
Right.
They all feel the same and they all look the same. Mad, disembodied spirits that have not transitioned and made it over. You know, the thickness, you could just, it's so thick. You could feel it. You could see it in the air. We got mad work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like how Ghostbusters and shit, they had that box that they opened up and they started pulling mad spirits in it.
Yes,
we got to
sir.
go through our hood, clean our hoods up with them shits, that because our hoods got mad, disembodied spirits. You know what I mean? Every day is Halloween, and those disembodied spirits are looking for hosts. You know what I'm saying? They looking to do what they do best. They're angry. They want to wreak havoc. And the country is a perfect breeding ground right now for that type of energy. You know, especially this year, there was so many people that died in an undignified way. You know what I'm saying? That the institution of death has been interrupted for I would say the first time, but you know, in a very long time. It has not been done like this for a very long time. Like the last thing, you know, outside of war zones, you know what I mean? But America go and fuck everybody else shit up. It's, you know, outside of 9/11, there hasn't really been too many war zones where we like, yo, the bodies got disrespected. Because they got disrespected. 9/11, they got disrespected. Like 10 years later, they was still finding femur bones and shit and rubble. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Y'all couldn't get the goddamn bones and the body parts out of the rubble. Like, couldn't figure that shit out. Took 10 years. So those bodies, those lives did not get, you know, ceremoniously prepared for the afterlife. Those spirits are still down low Manhattan. Running around fucking shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
now,
sir.
Around this entire country, because of COVID, next weekend, come Halloween, I'm trying to tell you, this might be one for the record books. You know, so if you a light warrior, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You're somebody that do work on this planet, shit. Got your work cut out for you this weekend, you know. You're going to have to really hold space. You're going to have to really hold space and really, you know, keep a frequency, a high vibrational frequency up that really holds space, because you got to do 10 times the amount of work that you usually been used to doing, because there's so many disembodied spirits, on top of the fact that the gates are going to be lowered, and, you know, they're going to get it to mix and mingle with all of these other spirits. Right. And you don't know what that powder keg looks like going into the election a few days later, when people are worried and they're going to start pulling stunts, and, you know, they're gonna go into their dirty bag of tricks. Fear. They're going to stoke the flames of fear, my nigga. Trust that. And this is the perfect recipe for it. Cosmically, it's the soup. It's the cosmic soup for it. You know? So, gotta be on point. Gotta be on guard. You have to protect your peace. You know what I'm saying? Turn your home into a temple. And you know, really build that energy up there. Build up that ashe and that chi in your spot. So when the babies do come around there looking for some candy, you know, you could give them some soul candy.
Facts. Soul candy, dog.
Yeah,
man, that's powerful, bro. Dang. Woo. It's that time then. That's what you saying, Blue. It's that time, and it's the time to put in work and really do the self work. You know what I'm saying? With this energy that's right now.
There's so many tests. You know. Like when you get to the end of your semester, you put in mad work leading up to this, and you got those key tests that you got to knock out, that you really been preparing all year for. You know, these are the big tests that are coming. You know what I'm saying? Because we're closing out the year with some powerful planetary conjunctions, or galactic conjunctions that are lining up, you know. And these are these are the things that ring through timelines, you know. You get this right, you can qualify what was done wrong in the past. You can correct it. Quantum physics says you can exist simultaneously in the past, present, and the future. So these decisions, these tests that you are coming up against, you know, if you pass and get these right on some Lovecraft shit, like you can correct the errors and the mistakes and the shame and the badges that hamper us as a people from our past. Like, you can get some things situated. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, So yeah, man, like everything that Ye was talking about is of importance. There needs to be a reformation in the way that we grow, cultivate food, the way that we build our cities, the way that we educate these babies. You know what I'm saying? Even when he was talking about ergonomic designs, the way that we design things, right?
Yeah, that was dope.
Disrupt. Yeah, the way that, shout out to 19 Keys. He was the first one to introduce me to the concept of revolution through design. How revolutionary it is just to disrupt through designing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's dope.
You can create an entire paradigm shift by just revolutionizing the fork. Something is this as overlooked as that. You know what I'm saying? If you came about and showed a new way to use the fork where you're utilizing the thumb advantageously, like you click up and the fork goes, to the mouth quick because of the thumb use, shit like that. Right? Things that are so small and intangible that we're overlooking that can create such a change, unexpectedly. You know what I mean? Yeah, so when I hear visionary Ye, going into his bag and really utilizing a platform such as Joe Rogan's to have a complete stream of thought, right? I'm like, imagine if that was Ye's campaign, run. Like, imagine if he was, putting out his platform and his candidacy, and he was utilizing Joe Rogan's, platform to share his political platform to the world, saying, "Yo, this is what my plans are for the future." You know what I'm saying? You should rock with me. I'm like, yo, I'm going to vote. I'm voting for Ye.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like we getting together and doing a collective meditation to make sure his opponents catch heart attacks right before the election. Ye slide in.
Right. Yeah.
He got 444,000 votes, but that was all that was needed because he don't got no competition.
Let's go. Right.
So I'm a dreamer. Why not?
Yes, sir. You got to be. And he was definitely in his bag, man. I enjoyed that interview. But that's the great thing about you guys as well, man, is that you guys bring that type of energy and that swag to where people like me, I was in that life. I was in the hip hop world. I was in the streets, but it was people like you that I was seeing, you and your brother, man, that had that swag of that hip hop that was talking about something different. And that's so intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hold on, my bad. Okay, we good now. My bad. So what I was saying is that it was you guys' energy, your swag, that you guys were talking about different things. And from that community, we didn't see a lot of people that had that type of information, that was given that type of information, that looked like you brothers, that had dressed like you brothers, that was doing that. So it was very appealing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you guys was definitely, necessary for the community, man. And a lot of people learn from you guys, whether they say it or not. You guys was definitely influential. You know what I'm saying? And the next endeavors that you guys are doing with your businesses. And I know Red Pill got an album dropping soon, so salute to him. And that's just one thing too. When y'all get to that point where y'all start getting the notoriety, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all gonna put into place for change and speaking on the right things, you know what I'm saying, and the right people. Because shout out to Cambada too. That's a great hip hop album. If you guys haven't got it, I promote it on my page all the time. It's fire, you know what I'm saying? But I really believe in creation. I believe in entertainment and great entertainment, especially when it comes to music. I think that definitely can help change this shift of this paradigm that we're going through. I definitely believe music will be the catalyst. You know what I'm saying? I do music myself, but I do it for myself. You know what I'm saying? But you guys are putting it into projects together and putting it out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited myself to hear that. And I can't wait for it, man. So I appreciate everything that you said today, man. I appreciate this build. You know what I'm saying? But before I let you go, I got to ask you this one question, man. You know what I'm saying? With everything that you talked about today, what can we expect for 2021?
I mean, 2021 is going to be about a lot of the execution of the plans and the things that people put into motion in 2020. You know, for some people, 2020, they got activated and actually started moving on things that they have been speaking on. And for other people, they just woke up in 2020 and they're just now speaking, or they're just now coming up with plans. So there's going to be different trajectories, you know, for different groups of people based on who got started, where they got started at. So I think that we're going to see communities springing up, a lot of different communities, autonomous communities, off-grid autonomous communities. People are going to have a diversity of options. You know, like I said, there's going to be dissatisfaction. You know, people are going to be like, I'm not getting out of government or the political process for what I, you know, put my time, my energy, and my hopes in. So they're going to be looking to do other things. You know, it's going to be, yeah, you know, with the vaccine thing, it's going to be tricky as well. It's going to be very tricky.
Right.
And that's a toss up. I can't really say for sure, you know, how that's going to play out. There's multiple different scenarios. You know what I mean? But ultimately, how that ends up, I guess it's up to us, you know. Spirit keep telling me, look, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So it's good to look into the future and to see ahead, but like this shit unpredictable. Like, you know, you gotta create it as it goes along, you know. Gotta create it, be intentional. So I'm like, my intention is community. My intention is agriculture, horticulture, culture, period. You know what I mean? My intention is to galvanize these resources and really put something in place for these babies more than anything else. The women and the children, you know what I'm saying, they're deserving.
Definitely.
You know, men, you fucking select for yourself. Like, choose yourself, my nigga. Like, I ain't gonna tell you that you lit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta convince yourself for that shit. You gotta come into an agreement with yourself about who you are, what your role, what your position is, what your needs are, right? So once that's qualified, you know, then you can make it about something that's bigger than you, right? And then you really get to see what you're made of. That's not everybody's calling. Everybody's not going to answer that. Everybody's not going to be charged with that. But if you're here and you want to affect change and you came to be legendary, you know, if you call yourself walking in the shadows of the master teachers and showing up to do this work, you know what I mean? Like, they should entail some aspects of that. What is your contribution? You know, what's your legacy play look like? You know, if you can change something about the world, what would it be? Right. Do that, right? Focus on that. Move towards that. Don't think that it's bigger than you, because you might be the one that just creates the beginning momentum that ultimately, you know what I'm saying, brings it to that point of manifestation and fruition after you gone. It could be after you gone. It could be something that your babies pick up on. But there's too much opportunity right now. People gonna go from saying, oh, we boxed in, to all of a sudden we ain't gonna be boxed in no more. Are you ready? Right? If you had a 5-day window, can you get through? Because it's gonna come down to that. It's gonna be windows opening and windows closing. Can you jump through? Are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Are you getting ready? Do you even know? Or you just like water, you just flowing with it? That's cool too. You know? So 2021, I look forward to more magic, more magnificence, more manifestations. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we continue to rise. Corona rising. As soon as the sun go up, so do we. Tap in.
Tap in. Powerful, man. Powerful. I appreciate you, Blue, man. This was some powerful information, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the bill, bro. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Before I let you go, let the people know where they can find you at, brother.
Yeah, you can find me at Blue Pillar 44, BLUEPILLAR 44. Blue Pillar 44. Because I got clones out there. So you gotta follow instructions. Not underscore, not none of that. At Blue Pillar 44. All right. And that's also my Gmail, bluepillar44@gmail. And the products can be purchased at goldwater.com. Goldwater, GOLDEWATER, goldwater.com. With that, I want to say peace, love, and light. Thank you for the opportunity to see myself. All right. Appreciate the time. Hopefully people got what they invested. Peace.
Yeah, I definitely did, man. And I know they're going to resonate with this. I'm personally going to resonate with this. So I appreciate you, bro. Have a wonderful day. Keep doing your thing. Much love and much blessings to you guys. All right.
Peace, God.
All right. This has been another Soul View, y'all. Peace.